I mean, starting from the beginning, I don't know how old I was, but from a really young age, Sonoma being the closest NASCAR track at the time to my family, being from Southwest Washington, it was a big deal for us when they came to Sonoma. And so every year, biggest thing was my grandma, my dad, and I would venture down here. And as long as we were free, we'd be here for the whole weekend and watch the cup races and, you know, the K&N races at the time, and now ARCA. And just, it became such a big event in my life, because growing up, just really, my parents were tight on money with the business just getting started, and we weren't going on much vacation because being the youngest of 7, there's a lot of expenses. So that was like our one getaway every year that we knew was going to be there, that we could look forward to, and to spend that time with my grandma and grandpa was huge. I mean, there was times I remember just sitting there with my grandma and she'd be all smiling. I'm like, what? Like, what's so funny? And she's like, that's going to be you out there someday. And I'm, maybe, I'm sure, grandma, you know, but she fully meant it. I mean, before we ever even started racing. So when we started racing, it was still something that didn't go away. I mean, we still went down there every year, even when I was in baby grands and the late model stuff. And through the whole process, she was my biggest fan. Having my family around, nobody's seen more of this journey than them. They saw the passion and how much I wanted to be involved in it but couldn't for so long. And now that we are here, realizing really where we are now and seeing it through the eyes of that 10-year-old me that would have appreciated it so much, you know, I kind of forget how cool this is.
Talladega Super Speedway a couple of months back. Was in contention to win at Daytona. As we see Eric Johnson Jr. off the racetrack, and I see some damage. He may have come into contact with that tire barrier there, and indeed he has. Eric Johnson Jr. into the tire barrier in turn 12. Just as we were looking at Jake Finch, we see Eric Johnson Jr. off the racetrack. He had been up into the top 10, and that is going to be an early end to his day. See if we can take a look at what happened there as he is off the racetrack. He has got those wheels turned as hard as he can turn them to the right. Unfortunately, no traction on the grass. And Eric Johnson Jr. into the tire barrier there in turn 12, and he's going to climb out and call it a day. The second Bill McAnally Racing entry will come to a early end here at Portland International Raceway. You know, there is a young guy right there, Eric Johnson, who has worked hard to go out and sell himself to sponsors, has put his package together, and has put himself in one of the most competitive cars in the West Series. So a tough break for him here today, but keep an eye on this young man. He has got a big season ahead of him.
And all of a sudden, the right front tire just didn't do anything. So when I got back, I don't know exactly what happened. And then once they started explaining, It's like that made me feel a lot better because I just told him like I wasn't out of control, and even if you asked me what would I have changed, I don't know what I would have done differently.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things where I'm like,
You know that your process was the same as it was every lap before that.
Honestly, when I started on oval, I feel like I had a lot of tunnel vision. Like when you start out on oval, everything's happening so quick, and especially as a young driver, like it's hard to think big picture. But when you get on a road course and things get strung out, and all of a sudden you really having to focus on corner entries and apexes and seeing every corner differently, that goes into a play when you come back to ovals, because then all of a sudden you get to an oval and you realize both ends aren't exactly the same, and then you start thinking big picture a lot more. And honestly, for me, it slowed my thought process down. And the road courses teach you a lot more of a eyes-up discipline. You're battling drivers on a circle track. Yes, you have to mind your car and things, but I think road course racing is a lot more you're racing the track, and the other guys out there are just doing the same thing, and it's kind of like a dang sled race or the Iditarod. I mean, you're all in the same race, but when you pass each other, it's just because one's running their own race separately from the other a little bit better, and you know, you still got to make it to the end even if you're the fastest guy out there.
How does the muscle memory change from like an oval to a road course? Because when Max is doing, he's running the ovals, he gets into a groove and it's instinct kicks
Yes.
in. How consciously are you thinking about each corner versus is it that same kind of groove you get in?
So the thing that's a little different about the muscle memory when it comes to a road course, because you have so many different places for runs to develop, you have drafting on long straightaways coming into a play, you got brake fade now coming in because you're getting so much heat in the car, you know, things that just you typically wouldn't be exposed to in a circle track race, you get thrown out of your rhythm much easier on a road course, because one small difference from when you're running out there by yourself to now running in a pack, I mean, there's times running in the stock car, we could be running bumper to bumper down the straightaways, and all of a sudden now I got to break 150 feet earlier because we're going that much faster. So to go off of instinct can be really hard on a road course. Getting in your rhythm is a completely different animal on a circle track than in a road course. It's a little more of a balance than it is a rhythm. You got to find when to give and take, because you take all race long, you're not finishing. So.
That's all.
I got one of those like cup massage things.
I seen your photo.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
We actually, John put a mount on the actual transmission itself.
I guess that's where it just realizing you're like, hey, is that front light going away? Do we need to adjust like we did before that?
And I did say something, but I think it's just important to just get it off.
Get load up, get smooth, get off the car, because late model to ARCA couldn't be any more different. An ARCA car, yes, you do drive them on an edge, but the edge is to where the car gives out before you do. And in a late model, I feel like the limitation comes to driver, really. It's how free can you get that car around the track as a driver. And in an ARCA car, you get the car underneath you. They have 13-inch slicks. I mean, you got more grip than you can ask for, but eventually that tire becomes a shear point and goes away, and your car's shoving up the track. Guys call it a boat all the time, dump truck, whatever you want to call it. They take a different discipline on getting them to work for you than a late model. I feel like a late model, it's like driving as a teenager. You just beat the hell out of it and make that thing do what you want it to, and it looks rough and it sounds rough, but it works. An ARCA car is like driving a Cadillac fast. You try to push it, it doesn't work. You take it nice and easy, and all of a sudden you get all the ride quality out of it. Smooth is fast. I think you got to think big picture, but the other thing is just the competition. The competition is stiff, but I think everyone's got enough respect out there for one another to use each other up the most they can without taking too much in most cases. Now, you do have your oddballs here and there, but I just think that the competition level and level of respect goes up. But I just think when you're racing the same guys week after week or month after month in ARCA, and you know what everyone's had to do to get there, and you know, some may say it's not very much, some they've had to give them their whole life for it. Everyone just knows what it takes to get there, and I think they just know that there's a little bit more on the line than what's right in front of you. and that plays a big role into how guys race. It's different, but I think a lot carries over from one to the other. They definitely have their separation.
Yeah, I couldn't really get after it there because every time I tried to push and either downshift into third or upshift into third hard, it just didn't want to take.
And zero problems with the other gears, correct?
Correct, zero problems with the other gears, it's just third. But it did it for all 3 laps there, so I didn't want to slam it.
And no indication prior to that in any of the previous runs?
Not a single bit. But it made me wheel hop because I went to go grab it and it didn't grab, and then it finally did and just threw the car up in the air down into 4. Just started wheel hopping down there because of it.
10-4.
May not get a time in here, boys.
There's no way we can at least roll it around and get credit for a lap?
I mean, I don't think so. I can try.
Do we need to put a lap in to race?
I believe so. So we're going to try. We're going to have him push me back. I'm going to try to force this thing into gear, and then we're going to rock. It's acting like it's in reverse, and when I put it into first, it just dies as I try to disengage the clutch.
You can start without qualifying if that's what you're asking.
Alright, Bill, the transmission's being funny. Do you want me to put a lap in or no? It's acting like it doesn't want to come out of reverse. I can try to see if it'll stick.
If you've got the pro-out bearing pushed against the crankshaft, it's not going to be good. You blow the motor up, so we need to make sure it's safe.
Okay, that's your call. I can pull right back in here. It's locked up. We're not putting the lap in.
Copy that, buddy.
We're sitting there in qualifying.
Yeah.
All the cars are driving around you. You're on jacks. What's in your head?
I think last year me would have been a lot more frustrated. I'll start with saying that. It's kind of like the same thing with Portland after we wrecked. You sit there and you have this moment where you can be like, okay, I can get really upset, or I can just kind of take the next step. I think when we started, I've had moments where I've gotten really upset, and I don't throw fits to other people, but I've definitely thrown fits to myself or beat up on myself, and that's, being self-critical, I think, is how you get better in a lot of ways. But in those moments, it kind of was the biggest thing, the deciding factor in it, I guess you could say, was I didn't think being upset was going to get me anything. So when I'm watching all those cars out there, I'm thinking to myself, okay, my job's getting harder and harder and harder, and I'm watching this, and now all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I might get a lap in, and we might just get to, we've already, not only did we have issues in practice, we just threw the kitchen sink at it after that for setup changes, and I have no clue what the car is going to feel like. And I'm thinking, okay, at least I'll get a chance to feel it in qualifying. Okay, now there's 30 seconds left, and I don't get to do that anymore. Okay, the session's done. Am I even in the race? And all I could think was, okay, we're in the race. Now you just move on. And that's exactly, you had no time to freak out, to worry, to throw fit. It was what it was. I already knew, okay, our job's as hard as it can be now, so we just got to focus on getting the car ready. And we just jumped straight into that. So it wasn't as big of a deal to me as it was, say, to I know my parents were kind of freaking out watching that, because we've said over and over again, if we could just find a way to figure out whatever our bad luck has been in qualifying, we'll be good. That was our goal coming down here this weekend, was just qualify well. Well, that didn't work. So, whatever. We start from the back, and I think the guys know what to say to get me in the right mindset of you just can't waste time. You got to go forward. And I know they know me enough that no matter what they say, I'm still going to run my own race. Nobody's ever going to tell me how to drive the car, but you can sure put a mindset in my head. And I've had that through a bunch of races. After, breaking the transmission last year in Sonoma, Bill said, hey, use the brakes this time, not the transmission to slow down, and that stuck with me all race long. I had to tell myself over and over again to mindfully get the car to the end of the race. And so watching all those cars go, I knew we had to move on and set ourselves up to go from the back.
I want to say thank you guys for all your hard work. I mean, you guys really worked your tails off for me, so we'll just do this one car at a time, get her done. It's gonna kind of be big eyes here on the start, though. I mean, I know they're gonna jam up, so just gonna do what I can to keep it clean from there, and then lap 2, let's go for it. All right, boys, let's go to work. Yeah, 4, coming to the green right here. Pace cars off. 10 away, 5 away, rolling, green. Go, Eric, go. Come in here, man. Come in, take it, it's yours. It's all yours. You're gonna get 2 right here. You're gonna get 2. Come in, go. Take it all. Take what you need here. These guys are really slowing each other up here. Easy pickings, one at a time. Go take it. Be ready to defend here. Be ready to defend here on the right side. All clear behind you. No pressure on the back. Yeah, take that spot. Get in there. Atta boy. You are all clear. Get down there. Very nice driving. Get around them. Still out there. You're clear. No pressure on the back. 2, 3, 4, 5 Carly. Keep pulling hard. Get after that next one.
Just being brutally honest, like when we were at Tri-Cities, I felt like I took it one at a time. Everyone felt like okay, that's another one. On to the next. Okay, this time it was simply so many cars. It was like a kid with a piece of candy out in front of him. I saw the lead pack up here, and anything between point A and point B, I almost just looked through. I don't remember all the passes, if I'm gonna be honest with you. It was literally just catch them, do what you have to. Don't waste time, we gotta go. And there was times where like a couple guys pinched us, or a couple guys shown that like, okay, you're gonna have to work a little harder. And those are the ones I remember, because I had to stop for a second, figure out where I was better than them, set it up, then go. And on to the next. And so you kind of get, like you said, so focused and so, I don't know, in a rhythm, I guess. You're just, it's hard to describe, but it felt really good to pass so many cars so quick. But I honestly looked up, and when we were inside the top 10, I didn't even know I passed that many cars, because Sonoma is so hard to pass in certain aspects that, and you're so deep in the pack, you got to work so hard. You never get a moment to like really just like settle in and take a deep breath and figure out what's going on. So you start 30th by the time you get a chance to look up and realize you're 10th. And it's kind of an odd way of things going, but for us, I think I was just so motivated on getting forward, but also taking care of the car. I was just letting other guys break, other guys make mistakes, and I was just trying to pretty much run in my own little bubble and make sure that nobody breaks that bubble. And meanwhile, that bubble just kept working through the field while everyone was making their mistakes, and my main focus was just minimizing error. As a rookie, I think it's pretty easy to put yourself in a situation where your race ends quickly on your own doing. And so I just wanted to make sure that I didn't do that.
Use everything you got. Don't leave nothing on the table, Eric. We got this. Time to be aggressive, Eric. Time to be aggressive with it. Let's go.
Drive the wheels off that thing, bud. You're doing a great job. Give her shit. Good run, good run, good run.
Alright, bud. I need 10 good laps here, plus 7 seconds for the car behind you here.
Live hard. This is the last car coming up. Make sure you get by him quick, quick, quick.
So with about 10 to go, the team starts going on the radio, and they start counting down every lap. 10 more for me, buddy. All right, I need 9 more perfect laps.
3 perfect, clean laps. Get it done.
All right, I need 8 more, and I swear, I thought about coming on that radio and telling them, do not tell me another lap until it's the white flag, because I am about to throw up from the pressure, you know what I mean? Because Brandon Jones was behind us. He's not gonna give an inch when he gets to me. So I'm in this mindset of just run, and they're telling me, 7 seconds back. Okay, now he's 3 seconds back. I need 3 more laps, buddy. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this is gonna be close. Just get to the end. Second that yellow flag comes out, I just was like, of course. Why not? Why not make today harder than it already has been? You know, so we rack back up, and the entire time under a yellow flag, just pacing, I am like probably not doing anything I should be, not looking at the gauges, not controlling my switches. All I'm thinking is, you're just driving into a storm that you know is gonna suck, and you just have to figure your way out. I just played the game, and I think it actually paid off because I quit thinking so hard and just said, screw it, let's just have some fun.
You gotta use it up, buddy. Use everything you got. I want nothing left. Rise up, it is going to get wild. Right, Eric, shake your arms out. Shake it all out. Next flag's gonna end it here, Eric. They're rolling. Green. On your left, tight on your left.
Stay close to them. Don't give them anything. Do not give them anything. Take it. Get what you can out of the car. I need everything you got out of the second one. You get close.
Prepare to defend here. Make him go left. Make him go left. There you go. Roll through it. Roll. Go. Go, buddy, go. Yes, Eric. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Eric!
Good run, brother. Good run. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for letting me do this. Seriously, I love you guys.
you
baby grands and the late model stuff, and through the whole process, she was my biggest fan. My grandma was, and would always say, like, that's gonna be you out there someday. That's gonna be you, and kept saying, okay, maybe at the time you don't even think it's possible. And when she got sick, unfortunately, was diagnosed with colon cancer. It went downhill quick, and we never got the chance to go back to Sonoma. But when it was coming up just a couple months away, she ended up passing in May, and that was just a month before Sonoma. I was working in my shop getting a car ready for a baby grand race, and she basically told me we had a ring camera in there, and she popped up and said, "Hey, Bubba, what are you doing?" Popped out from the race car. I was like, "Hello?" It was Grandma, and I was like, I realized who it was, and I was like, "What are you doing, Grandma?" She's like, "I snuck it on your dad's phone." She was listening to me work on the race car, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting the car ready for this weekend." She said, "Well, save me a seat." And I just remember this conversation clear as day. And I said, "Grandma, you can't go to the track this weekend." I mean, at this point, she was on hospice, maybe a week left. I mean, it was bad. And she just clear as day. She told me, she's like, "No, I don't mean this weekend, silly." She said, "When I'm gone, find a way to save me a seat in the car, because I want to be there every lap of every step of the way for every lap. And I just want to see the day you make it, and take me for a lap around Sonoma, because I've always wanted to do that." And I mean, my heart sunk. You don't even know what to say in those moments. I just, "Okay, Grandma, I love you." And we went on to that race weekend. We ended up winning, I think, the trophy dash, got a trophy. And first thing we did that night was just run straight home from the track to her place. And I walked up to her room, gave her that trophy, and I mean, that right there, I was talking to my grandma, that for a while she was going in and out of, kind of saying things that didn't make sense, and that was the last conversation I could see in her eyes. My grandma was there. I gave her that trophy. She said, "I love you." I was in the room by myself, just with her. She said, "I love you. You're doing an amazing job." I gave her a kiss, and I walked out, and my sister, she was kind of doing the caretaking. She walked in behind me, and I was only a few steps down the hallway before I heard her call my name. And she said, "Bubba." And I said, "What's that?" And she said, Was grandma awake when you were in here?" I said, "She's not?" And she's like, "No, she's asleep." And she never woke back up. That was the last time she ever said anything to anyone, and the next day she was gone. So, for us to come back carrying, a piece of her with us every step of the way since then, she's been there for every lap. Running this race at Sonoma is the only real chance I have to give her what, she asked me for, which, being my grandma and me being young when she passed, there wasn't many chances to do that. And not only for myself, but my dad and the rest of the family. I know that means more than anything racing can give us, so it goes deep. Having my family around, I feel like it's an odd way of answering this, but I would say perspective is the first thing that comes to mind. Nobody's seen more of this journey than them, and when I was young, they saw the passion and how much I wanted to be involved in it but couldn't for so long. And now that we are here, they are so good at pacing me and making me take that step back and just kind of take in the bigger picture and capture moments, just realizing really where we are now and seeing it through the eyes of that 10-year-old me that would have appreciated it so much. I think without taking the time to kind of just do that and check yourself and really say, wow, this is incredible to be here, I think you lose a portion of that hunger, like I was saying, that motivation that you would have at that age. And, they do it without even realizing. I mean, Andy, coming to the races with us, there's times where I see him, like you guys walk into the pits and being like, oh my God, this is Sonoma. You see the big sign up there in the pit road and all the cars out. And I'm like kind of thinking to myself, like, I kind of forget how cool this is, to other people. And once you do it enough, it does start to get normal, which sucks to say. But at some point, it's got to, or you can't focus on what you need to do. But if you don't stop and take those moments, to remind yourself really of where you are, what you've done to get there, how important it is to you and has been to you your whole life, I think you lose a little bit of the empowerment that you had that got you there, that whatever it is you call it, that drive that made you who you are to be where you are. So I think that's the biggest thing that they've done for me, is just they pace me. When I get ahead of myself and just get too in my own head or too focused and not living enough life, they pull the leash and remind me to just breathe. The second I grab second gear and am on that last drive to the start finish, I can't tell you the amount of relief. Like, coming to that final green white checkered, I was so sick. Just thinking about all the things that could go wrong and ruin this moment that had gone so well up to that time. It felt so good to get something for all those people that made it possible. The reason coming across that line, all I can think is thank you, thank you, thank you. Is the whole time coming to the line, I'm thinking, don't ruin this for them, don't ruin this for them, because that's all I wanted, was to give all the people that made it possible a physical result, to go, this is why we work so hard. And yeah, I burst, I melted in the seat, and I know, like, if I'm excited, I can't even imagine what they're thinking up there. And so, of course, like, I wish I could see them, but all I can do is talk to them. So I'm just hoping they're on the radio, and I'm just saying the first thing that comes to mind, which is just thank you. Because when I started this, it was because of them, and I'm still doing it because of them. Now, don't get me wrong, we have partners, but I still would not be here if it wasn't for them. Yeah, they're just the first people that come to mind every time. And there's my grandmother, my siblings, Dolores, my team, all those guys are right there, right behind them. But the first people that, the first faces I see in my mind when I think of this journey is them. And so it's hard not to think